Thank you. Hello everybody, my name is Craig Bennett and I'm the founder and owner of TechViews Nope, and today we're doing another Android tutorial, and this one is the 23rd. Now as far as this one goes, we're going to get into if-else statements, and I'll show you some real world examples, but this is something that is commonly used and it's pretty important to realize it. But with this, if you haven't seen my previous videos, then please feel free to check out that. A card will be towards the top showing that. And if you know about if-else statements and things of this nature, then feel free to skip ahead. The card towards the next video should be towards the top. If that card is not there, then that means that video is probably not out yet. Keep in mind, I try to put out these videos once or twice a week, depending on my schedule. So with this, basically if-else statements are pretty easy to understand, or at least they're easy for most people to understand, but they are very useful. So if-else you can use if-else in multiple ways. One of the easiest ways to do it is something like this: if something is true, then do the following. Else, if something is true or not, then do the following, so on, so on, so on. And you can do a simple if-else without doing a if-else, if-else, if-else. So you can do multiple if-elses within the same thing, but if you want to do just one, you can easily do that. So for example, if you want to say if something is true, then do the following, else do whatever. Whereas this one, it says if this is true, then do this, else if this is true, then do this, else do if, and you can see where this is going in the last if statement. So not all if statements have to have an else, but an else statement does have to have an if. That's important to note. So if you're doing an if-else, you can do multiple if-elses inside of each other. Yours might look a little bit different from mine, depending on how you like to lay out your stuff. But for the most part, there's this. There's also and, or, nor, things of this nature. And I will get into some of those later. I personally don't see those as much, if really at all, in many cases. But if else, I constantly see. So it's very important to know the if statement, what it means. So if this is how it is, true or whatever, then do this. And you can say that that's it, and it has nothing after it, kind of like this one. But you can also throw an else and tell it to do something else. So you don't actually have to even have that. So it's pretty straightforward with that. In fact, with this, I can actually take out that portion, and that'll be fine because there's nothing else for it to do or to care about, and that portion of the code will be fine. But the reason why I got that in there is at a quick glance, I'm able to look at it and say, what exactly is going on here? So another example is right here. We have if sensor, and basically it's saying, okay, is there a sensor? This is outdated. It's a depreciated part. So when you're seeing that, that's what that means. And it's a good idea to not use those, but it's based on how this was acting up for me, I decided to just go with it. And then given the type of application it is, which is a shaken sound type of application, I said there's not enough importance for me to even care. But in your workforce, you want to stay away from those, because what it means is I'll probably get in a later video more into this, but basically all that means is sooner or later that may not be supported at all by Google. And I know a lot of people with iPhone whose coding for them, they ran into that particular problem when Swift was first being developed for in the iOS system. Basically, as Apple was tweaking their stuff to align with Swift, which is a narrow language that's very similar to Objective-C, basically they actually ran into some problems where they had a camera application that all of a sudden didn't work because Apple didn't recognize certain codes anymore. So that's important to note, is that's totally possible. Now, basically all this is saying is if this has a sensor and it's a accelerometer and it's on, then do all the following. So right now we don't even have an else here, and it's doing all the following. Fine. So right here we got another if, and it says if current time minus last update is greater than 3,000 milliseconds, which is 3 seconds. So 1,000 milliseconds is equal to 1 millisecond. So if the current time minus the less updates, which I define in a few places, is greater than 3,000 milliseconds, then do the following. Otherwise, don't even recognize the change in the accelerometer. That's a big one, and that's a big one to understand. Now, I'm not going to get into this last update thing because that's a little bit more complicated. But maybe in a later video. I don't think I'm doing the next 2 or 3 videos, but we'll get into that in a later video. If I don't, remind me. But that's all that says. Then we got another round of if else's, so you can see it doing the following. And a lot of this, basically, this is saying if this is rocked left or right, then do the following. So if I wanted to, I can even use this. And if you're going to do this, use this particular code, make all these into 10s. I got it like this mostly because the thing was acting up. I don't know what's up, but it was acting up, and by just doing this simple thing, trial and error, I found that it worked every time by leaving it like that. But with that, basically we have if the sensor detects that it is being shaped towards the right axis, then log it. So we already talked about logging. Then make a toast notification. Again, we already talked about the toast, and it tells the person, hey, this went to the right side of the x-axis. Then play sound, which I didn't really get into. Basically, this is an toast notification. The media player it's taking the sound, the get back to work sound, is finding that, getting it ready, and then it's playing it here, and that's where that's going. But same thing with these. It's similar things happening. So if I wanted to play a different sound, I could, per which way you're swinging the phone. Now keep in mind, the thing with this is you wouldn't want the phone to do advanced things when you're using accelerometer from the left to right. So right here I can say when the thing swings to the right of the x-axis, then do the following. When it swings to the left of the x-axis, then do the following. And same thing, the z-axis. Well, the thing is if I probably should have put a white axis, but the thing is if you have the thing very sensitive, and then if you tell it to start a program or do whatever when it goes in one axis versus another, when you actually swing the phone, say to the right axis, it's possible it can read the left axis, the left side of x-axis, because part of the going to the right axis at the very tip where it should recognize it, you swing back a little, and that can cause it to say, oh, it's actually on the left side. So keep in mind, we're not dealing with very, 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 very accurate things. The hardware in here is very basic, just enough to do its job, and that's about it. So you don't want it to be super sensitive, and you don't want to have complex things. That's very critical for someone swinging one side to the other, and that's very important. So having things like the toast is fine, and this, it ensures me no matter which way it's swung, it will make a sound. And I'm probably going to put a y-axis into here. I'm thinking about it. So that's very important to realize, and with these if-else statements, and also a little extra on there with the accelerometer. But anyways, this code will actually be down there in the description in case you want to check it out. And feel free to play with it. The application itself is for free, and modify it, whatever, and do whatever. But give credit where it's due if you're going to repost it. And yeah, see you next video, and hope you have a great day.